What's up, everybody? I'm Zach Dykes, and as I live and breathe,
Hey-o, Jeremy Branch.
we have Jeremy here to discuss the Supergirl trailer that came out from CBS. We just watched it. First time I watched it was a day or so ago, and from what I've seen, I really like the look of it. It looks very true to a source. It looks like it's a comic book show. You had mentioned it looked like what?
Ally McBeal.
It does a little bit. It does. I like that they're going more of not as dark as the Man of Steel movies because that I guess depressing.
Sure.
And everything. I like that they're going with a lighter tone. That it's this girl finding her way in the world. That she went from trying to be normal to. In the thing, it pretty much gave you her origin.
The whole origin story.
It was like 6 minutes long, which is fine. I think they did that to get that out of the way. So they can focus. Of course that'll be part of the show, but it was kind of getting it out of the way. So when you go into the show, that you know what's going on.
Definitely.
Of course, her sister is being. She's in a plane. Blah blah blah. She's about to crash, and then you have her saving the day. And I think. The costume looks great. That they were changing it, off and on, and everything was really cool.
You see the evolution of it in the trailer itself, which is cool. You get to see some sexier variations of the costume as well.
You do. What do you think of the girl that's playing her? Do you think she's going to be able to carry that character through it?
Well, let me first step back and say I probably am speaking on behalf of a bunch of fanboys and geeks everywhere. As a kind of person, I can't have my cake and eat it too. I can't say that I want there to be more strong female superheroes and say that I want there to be more stuff out there for women and then sit here and rip on this thing. You know what I mean? With that being said, I'm not the demographic for this show. I thought that the trailer looked kind of cheesy.
Really?
I did. And the look, the aesthetic of the show itself didn't bother me as much as the music cues. Again, this is coming from somebody who's kind of into a little bit edgier of a style. I don't watch a whole lot of television because I feel like that Dawson's Creek-y, Party of Five tone that gets carried over
the
to
drama,
WB.
CW type deal that they do all the time.
That's something that I personally could do without, but I think that the base really enjoys that. And for me to critique something that is clearly not made for me isn't fair. So I can't give a fair perspective to whether or not I think females are gonna like it. I just felt like it's one of those situations where, and Superman's always been guilty of it, these people are like borderline klutzes out of the costume, and then they put the costume on and they're
superhuman gods.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like if we could kind of bridge the gap somehow where it's like they're kind of. You touched on the fact that she's just learning how to use her powers, so they might play up that element of it a lot more. But just my first interpretation of it is kind of similar to Peter Parker, Superman, all of them.
Yeah.
And then it's also like she's a powerful woman, so she has to work at some law firm or you know what I mean?
Some kind of marketing news place or whatever.
Sure, and that just seems to be an overreaching theme with a lot of the female characters in comics.
Yeah. The overall look of it's fine to me. I know that in my opinion, I wish that Arrow does way too much drama stuff. In my opinion, I understand that you got to build characters up and everything, but at the same time, I wish it was more comic book based, where the story built up to something bigger instead of, well, who's the blah 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 and all of this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, just shut up and get me something cool, And then they finally later in the season they'll do something that builds into an actual story arc instead of all this crap and everything. So
you could be right on in that they're setting it up as a feminine slant on the greater TV universe, and that it might actually seamlessly transition into the rest of it.
Yeah.
And maybe when it gets to that stage of development, it'll seem less like to me, it just seems like it's trying to hit that female base.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that will be a success or not.
I don't think it will, just because these shows, yes, they get both genders, but the majority of it is still male.
Sure.
There's more and more females out there that are watching things, which I am all for, but the majority of this is going to be males that are going to be watching it and, you know, seeing if Superman shows up. That's what it really is. You know, you're waiting for Superman. And I think this would be a great part for CBS to develop a strong character, not just a klutz or whatever, to actually put in character development into Kara, and they could have something phenomenal on their hand, because you already see CW doing well with Arrow and Flash. Fox struggling, in my opinion, with Gotham, because Gotham could have been so much better.
Yeah.
You know, you know, Constantine just dropping like a rock because of the horrible scheduling at NBC or whatever.
And an atrocious pilot. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And then you see Marvel doing, you know, the same at ABC, doing horrible with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Agent Carter bringing this around. Agent Carter, an amazing show, and has a female lead, and just freaking amazing. I loved it. It could have done a little bit better on production value in some places, but that show did it perfect.
It didn't so much seem forced.
Yeah.
Even though she was clearly living in that man's world dynamic.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's what I loved about it. She was in the man's world back in the 40s, you know, after World War II, but she, you know, even that she was treated, you know, wrongly or whatever, she overcame it, showed everybody, I'm better than all of you.
Yeah.
And I've got a vagina.
Yeah, absolutely.
Female power.
But, and let me just throw a little bit of credit to DC for the fact that they've been leagues ahead of Marvel and Disney when it comes to diversity in casting, pushing to get female directors on projects, really showing that they have confidence in their characters enough to say, we're going to let this show be run by a female, or we're going to let this movie be directed by a female. We're going to take a chance, and we're going to write this character as black, or we're going to cast a queer actor to play the Flash, which is a huge, huge risk that up until DC put it on the table, who's to say if Marvel would have, you know, taken that step? Yeah.
The only thing I have a problem with DC is they're not connecting their universe. They have a separate TV universe and a separate movie universe.
Extremely successful TV universe at that.
Fucking dumb. Just, it's stupid.
So do you think it's that the TV universe doesn't want to be sullied with the potential?
It's the movie side of it.
The other side.
They don't want to be connected with it. It's stupid. You have an already established Oliver Queen that everybody loves. Stephen Amell does a great job. A little bit shaky on the acting sometimes. He's gotten better. Flash has taken off like a flash.
Yeah.
And it's great. And the diversity is there in all of those shows. You already have strong cast members that everyone's connected to. They're like, oh, well, here's another Flash. And people are like, this isn't Gus Grant or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You know, that's not him. Mm-hmm. Is he Barry Allen? That's not Barry Allen. You know, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's plain and simple. Agree. It's horrible marketing. And I understand, you know, you're not wanting to tie your hands, you know, with story and all of that. You can see that with Star Wars and what they did with continuity. But at the same time, you don't have to tell a backstory to this person. You've got 2 seasons of a show right there. 3 seasons, 4 seasons, whatever whichever one you're talking about. It's already taken care of. It's already out there. Easy.
So are they doing a Green Lantern and a Green Arrow movie together? Is that the latest rumor I heard?
I have no idea.
We'll wait and see how that plays out. But there's something about Earth 2.
Yeah, there's hints and all of that about Earth 2. And now there's Hawk Girl, which is, or Hawk Woman, whatever you want to say. She's been cast. They've been talking. I haven't read a lot of it because I've been kind of trying to stay away from it because I haven't caught up and everything. So I'm just like, but DC's doing a good job of, like you said, diversifying their cast and everything. So I want to see what happens with Supergirl. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about it. The trailer did get me intrigued. I'm definitely going to check it out. I just hope it isn't drama the whole time.
If they drop the ball on this, though, they're really not running that much of a risk because they've got so many other great shows already going.
Yeah, and with it being such a side character, Supergirl, you know, is not a huge character. It's never been, you know, it's not going to hurt them if it falls apart, which I don't think it is. From the trailer, I think, okay, well, it's going to be, for a while, it'd probably be Freak of the Week type deal, but I think it will build into something bigger than that.
Sure.
You know, maybe not in the first season, but I think it will do something a little bit more. You had mentioned SpiderMan, and there is a reported casting of Spider-Man from the Marvel side of everything. Now, this is not, I repeat, this has not been completely confirmed. It's reported. Don't get it confused, okay? Asa Butterfield, is that how you say his name?
Let's go with Asa Butterfield.
Asa
I'm not really sure either.
All right, Butterface has been cast, and you probably know him best from Ender's Game. That's where I've seen him the last in. And certain reports claim that Marvel Entertainment negotiations are with Butterfield's reps for a deal. You said that he's the youngest Spider-Man that's been cast?
19 years old, playing a 15 to 16-year-old Peter Parker versus Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, which were 29 and 25 respectively when they were cast.
Yeah. Well, Andrew Garfield looks like he's like 19.
He still does, for sure.
Butterfield, he does look younger, so he can easily pull that off. I'm not worried about that. It's a casting, a possible and everything, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. If you don't like him, then whatever. If you do like him, hey, you got that guy. He's possibly getting it. I think they should cast Vin Diesel.
Oh, he would be the perfect Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Yeah, I think he would be perfect. Anything. I think Marvel really needs to utilize his acting abilities. Because when you get down to it, Triple X is probably one of the best movies that's ever been made.
Definitely. Yeah, that's safe to say, for sure. It's hard for me to get excited about somebody who's so much of a relative unknown. I didn't see Ender's Game. People have said good things about the movie.
It was okay. It was okay.
I heard he was a pretty compelling lead in the movie.
Yeah. I think there was more problems with the movie than there was with his
performance. Sure. I like his look. I like the fact that he's as old as he is and can play even down younger, because they're supposed to be going with a high school Peter Parker to kind of work in the dynamic of what it would be like to have a kid in the Avengers. You know, so that in that way, I can see how they could probably get 4, 5, 6 movies out of somebody at that age, sign a multi-deal contract, and I'm excited to see what they do for it. I do feel like they dropped the ball on giving us such a traditional casting choice as far as, the way he looks.
I think they're playing it safe because Peter Parker is the known Spider-Man, and I'm fine with that. Bringing in Miles Morales, I don't think would have made sense at this point in time. If they play their cards right, which I don't know if the superhero genre will last much longer, in my opinion, 5-10 years at most, they could build him up, he'll get a little bit younger, and spoiler alert, if you don't know, in the Marvel universe, Peter Parker dies, and Miles Morales, he saves him or whatever, and he becomes his hero, and that's how, I don't know how he gets the powers or whatever, but he becomes Spider-Man. They could easily do that
later down the road.
I think they really need to get Spider-Man going the right way before they bring in somebody totally different that nobody knows.
Hearing you say that is kind of what opened up my eyes to that perspective. Is like, even if it doesn't come today, there's still that's an open possibility. There's no reason why we couldn't see that in the future. So like you said, play it safe for now, so they can take the bigger risk afterwards. I think they're gonna probably get their feet wet with Black Panther and stories. Honestly, when it does come down to the bottom line, and we talk about it like it's race motivated and all of those things, let's be real. If the studio heads do not believe that a black star is as marketable as a white star, it doesn't matter, right? It's not about the comment section, it's about voting with our pocketbooks,
Yeah, exactly. And you can see that with all that they're doing right now.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how this movie ends up anyways.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He'll be probably in Civil War. That's, where he's supposedly,
save money.
Easily putting him in. He's a big part of the story, so I think that would be a smart choice for Marvel to do. So, you can check out all of Jeremy's stuff at Be Terrible Studios. I'll put a link here. And he's got a lot of great stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
A lot of great stuff.
Sure.
Make sure to subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to this channel. Down there. Do it.
We got you here.
Yeah. And make sure you watch all the other videos that's going to be over here. This has been Zach.
And Jeremy Branch.
Have a week.